million. And I thought about it and I was like, oh, I know exactly who can relate to this. James Harden has made $500 million in his career. He turned down 50. 50 is 10% of 500. Who could we ask about this? Maybe a man who made $100 million in his career and turned down $10 million. Why? Because the Jets were the team offering it. Brandon Marshall, what's James Harden feeling this morning? As you are one of the few Americans who has done this exact thing. Tell me about it.
You can't. Can you stop it? I love the Jets. It wasn't because of the Jets.
Houston.
I just wanted to go to the Giants.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do.
50 to 500, 10 to 100. I love the Jets so much. I just wanted to stay in the city and leave teams.
I think he's blushing. Hey, I love this Kyler Murray game winner so much. I'm showing it to you again while I ask you this question. What do Tom Cruise, Kevin Hart, Nick Wright, and Kyler Murray all have in common? They're all very, very successful short men. No problem with it. But here's the thing, it makes the quote by Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler's coach, so fantastic. This is what he said after the play, after the game. Do we have it up here? We don't have it up here. Is it in my quote?
No, too bad.
Oh, he said here, he goes, Kyler being 5'9", couldn't see over anybody because I can't see anything, to see what was going on in the end zone. So he had to look back at the screen to see if Hopkins actually caught the ball. Life is short, buddy. So what? You're successful. You might even be the MVP. I love it. I love short guys. Nick, it's totally fine. No one's going to know the difference. You're sitting down.
Of all the things to make fun of me about, it's a lie. Of all the things.
If you believe it. Let's head down to New Orleans now. Drew Brees underwent an MRI yesterday after getting hit hard in the chest on Sunday. He's got multiple fractured ribs and a collapsed lung, so he's going to miss some time. Best case scenario, they're saying 2 to 3 weeks. But get this, Sean Payton is waiting before naming a Week 11 starter. Brees posted this pic on the gram. Who Dat Nation, I got the best medical team in the world. Posted this yesterday with his kids. It was adorable. We're going to be back in no time. Okay, Brandon, you suffered this exact injury as a player. So give us a little insight into what Drew Brees is going through right now, what it feels like, and sort of what the prognosis is as a player looking to get back into the game.
Woo. Yeah, first of all, I feel for Drew Brees, even that. He's going to have to do that 4 or 5 times a day just to get the health of that lung back right where it needs to be. So he's going to have 10 reps of 10 to get his lungs back healthy. So he's going to have to continue that. But look, going back in 2014, I had 2 fractured ribs and a punctured lung. And what they had to do is literally while I was woke, because on the way to the hospital, I chugged down the Gatorade, so they couldn't put me to sleep. They end up slicing me open. Well, I'm looking at this and shoving a thick tube in my lung. And for the next 2 to 3 weeks, I was sitting in a chair and I was sleeping in a chair. It was the most uncomfortable thing ever. That's the tube in my lung right there. That's blood at the end of that tube. This is one of the most brutal injuries you can have as a player. You can't move. You can't do anything. So, Drew Brees, I feel for you. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal wild. It's one of the most uncomfortable things. He's going to have to sleep upright for the next at least week or 2 for him because he didn't have to get the surgeries. It's brutal.
Wow. Well, Brandon, thank you for laying that all out in very detail. That sounds that sounds awful. You think? I don't know how else to say it. Well, listen, remember last year Saints lost Drew Brees for 6 weeks. They didn't miss a beat with Teddy Bridgewater in there. So, Nick, let me send it to you. The Saints still make the playoffs with Brees out this time around. If it's 2 to 3 weeks best, if it's 4 to 6 weeks, whatever it is, still puts them back before the playoffs begin.
I say absolutely yes, but first, I'm doubly insulted this segment. First, I'm insulted because of all the things to make fun of me about that are legitimate. Jenna continues to insist on this lie that I'm short. There's nothing wrong with being short, but it's just an odd lie. That's the first reason I'm insulted. The other reason I'm insulted is because you guys, the whole pre-show, were like, hey, we can only ask Brandon what it's like to have cracked ribs and a punctured lung. Even though everyone on the staff knows that I once fell down a set of stairs at a bar and suffered this exact same injury. That's a true story. So y'all could have asked me too, but no, we gotta ask Brandon about it. That's a true story. That did happen.
Short. All right. Can't get up the stairs.
The stairs are too high. Okay, good.
He couldn't see the stairs. He couldn't see them because they were right in front of him.
Now to answer the playoff question, the Saints are going to be fine. The Saints, this was why beating the Bucs was so wildly important, because of schedule for the Saints. If you look at their next month of football, they have 2 against the Falcons, Denver, and Atlanta, and then the game after that is Kansas City. Don't even play Drew Brees in the Kansas City game. Rest him until Christmas Day when you play the Minnesota Vikings. You can go 3 and you're going to lose to the Chiefs whether you have Brees or not. Split with the Vikings, beat the Broncos and the Eagles, and you're going to finish the year 12-4. And by the way, in order for that not to be good enough to win the division, the Bucs would have to go undefeated. So I would not play Drew Brees until week 16 at home against Minnesota. I still think if they do that, they'll be 10-4 going into that game because they built themselves a cushion, and they'll be just fine. Now, Brandon, I think their chance of getting the bye has probably been eliminated since there's only 1. But not only do I think they'll still make the playoffs, Brandon, I think they'll still win the division.
Yeah. It's possible, Nick. I mean, for those 2 reasons we talked about yesterday. Coach Payton, he's a genius. No one prepares better than Coach Payton. You can walk in his office at midnight on a Wednesday night, Thursday night, and he'll probably be in there with his candles burning and watching some type of plays from the 1990s, looking at the defensive coordinator, how he set up certain things. So absolutely they have a chance. And then when you look at Dennis Allen the last couple years, his defense has usually trend the second half of the year in the right direction. This team is starting to pick it up. You see what they did against the Bucs. So for those 2 reasons, they absolutely can continue to right this ship. Now, one of the things we need to pay attention to is Jameis Winston. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to watch this kid. The kid has all the skills he needs, but he just needs to protect the ball. So coming in and sitting behind Drew Brees and watching him prepare every single day, how he approaches practice, how he approaches watching film, how he approaches leading, how he approaches game day. What does he dress? How does he dress when he comes to game day? You have to think that is super beneficial for this kid. So Drew Brees and Coach Payton mentoring this kid could be a recipe for success. It has to be. So if Jameis Winston came in with the right attitude, we can see this guy come in and make an impact right away.
Brandon, you missed the best storyline in all of sports. Does LASIK surgery help Jameis Winston become a great quarterback? He had LASIK surgery in the offseason, and everyone's like, hold on. Could this dude just not see that well? Is that going to be the cure to all of his ills? And God bless Sean Payton for trying. Oh, we're out here playing checkers, but Sean Payton's playing chess. Sean Payton's like, I'm not going to name a quarterback. You don't know what I'm up to. Maybe I'm going to play the quarterback that threw for 5,000 yards last year and 30 touchdowns and played the entire second half when Drew Brees went down. Or maybe I'm going to play Taysom Hill, the guy who this year has thrown for, let me check my notes, 186 yards over 9 games. Who knows? Sean Payton, whoa, the palace intrigue coming out of New Orleans. I'm here for it.
Wild.
Yes.
You know what those 186 yards represent that he's thrown for this year? More than half of his career total. And I'm glad you mentioned Taysom Hill, because we are now in the 2nd straight year where Drew Brees is going to miss around a month of football, and the Saints are not even considering starting Taysom Hill. So I'll say Jenna what I said yesterday once again. No, he's not. 1185 Avenue of the Americas, New York, New York, for all the apologies. For all the apologies for this crap I've taken for 2 years for saying Taysom Hill is a 30-year-old gadget player and not a starting quarterback. Because you know who agrees with me? Sean bleeping Payton, America. He's who agrees with me, Jenna.
Oh, only maybe, since he has yet to name a Week 11 starter. Only maybe. Let us get back to basketball now. Giannis Antetokounmpo should be waking up this morning a very happy man. you.